Here we are back for another live episode at RSA. I am so excited to be joined by Nate. Nate's CMO over at 7AI. And if you haven't heard of these guys, it's about time you should, but they're absolutely causing some exciting noise, which funnily enough is going to be talking a bit about how to break through noise in the space. Nate, thank you for joining me here. I know it's been a crazy week, so now we're in the midst of the conference, but tell me a little bit about how the week's looking for you and what's been exciting while you've been there.
Yeah, so I've been doing RSA since 2007. Yeah.
I bet it's changed.
This is the first time I've been in a company that didn't have a booth.
Yeah.
And it's very different. My feet thank me, first of all, which is great. But it's just been a lot of meetings. But the cool thing about this one is, so when you're not a sponsor and you're not just thinking through the lens of, I've got to be at the booth all the time and the announcements and everything, you start really trying to engineer what the experience is like with the people that you're meeting and what you can do. And then you can also take the high level view and look at everything instead of just my booth has to be perfect. And a couple of things really stand out. So one is just like everything that happens outside of the show on the news cycle.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of this company launches or this company got funding, and there was some really good ones. I don't know if you saw the Jazz one.
Yeah.
Did you see what they did? So Jazz, it's a DLP company's AI for changing the way DLP is done, but know their team really well, worked with some of them formerly, but they created like a pawn shop theme where it was bring your worst swag and trade it in for something good there.
That's really...
Like that stood out, and that was something different, right?
So imagine how upset you would be if you then go and see all of your company's swag there. It's really bad stuff that you...
But I love that. It's things like that standing out. And then we were named to Fast Company's Most Innovative Companies of 2026 list.
Wow.
So we had that announcement this week. There's just so much noise, but trying to find a way to break through.
Yeah.
I've seen some real creativity here so far. That one was a good example of it. But to me, I think the biggest thing is AI, and then AI. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we're literally just saying beforehand as well, when you walk the conference floor, and let's be honest, most people are trying not to walk the conference floor. It's most of the people that are down there off booth duty and thinking, I'm just going to walk around until my next session starts.
Or pick up swag for the kids.
And that, taking some stuff home, being like, look, I was thinking about you while I was in that conference. But obviously, that is literally the buzzword you're seeing everywhere. And we're obviously talking, it'd be interesting to get your thoughts, because obviously you guys, it's a big thing of who you are, it's in your names, and naturally it's going to have to be what you're, anything that you've got going on. But obviously for a lot of people, it's also just a buzzword. It's not necessarily, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because it's probably overwhelming from the consumer perspective as well when you're walking, how do I define what's actually good here and not?
Yeah, the way I think about it is, and you look at every booth, and I was saying to you earlier, 96% of the booths at RSA have AI on them, and I made that up, but still might be true, is nobody cares about AI.
Yeah.
It's like having electricity on your booth.
Yeah.
That's just a way that something has happened, but what is the something? What is the value you're giving this thing?
Yeah.
Like, what is the AI doing? And I think we're just at that early stage, and this happens in every cycle. It was the same with cloud. It was the same with mobile. And you then move beyond that to show what you're actually doing. But it's so early that everyone's just saying, just slap AI on it. And we'll get past that, but that's where we are right now. And so from the outside looking in, I don't know how you would differentiate from one company to another. Everyone is doing something with AI and cyber. And to me, like, that's a great opportunity to stand out.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that we're doing today, I was just telling you, like, when we were getting ready for this, we're doing some threat research where we were able to find something that no one else had found. And we were then able to go to customers and say, we found this in your environment. Here's how to fix it right now.
Yeah.
And proactively doing that. How did we do that? We did it because AI allowed us to find it, and like it's a big part of what we do. Well, way more important to that is we had our people talk to their people and say, here, we found this thing. Here's how you fix it. That changes everything, and that's the whole idea here is we all have very cool technology. We love playing with fun things, but it's people buying from people to solve problems that people have.
Yeah.
And no words on a booth is going to change that. And so it's that building those deep connections and not forgetting that trust is earned, and it's like the most important thing.
Yes.
That's what we're seeing every day. And our biggest lesson that we learned is we have people that buy from us not because we have the best slides, not because we have the coolest brand, but because she'll look us in the eye and say, if something goes wrong at 2 a.m, I can call you. I'm not going to submit a ticket.
I think it's really important that we talk about all of this technology, especially when we look at agents or whatever it may be. But realistically, at the end of the day, we all know one of the biggest vulnerabilities in cyber is around people anyway. But it's also people are there, almost that's who's being impacted by the products that you create. So it's also, I think sometimes people forget that. I don't know how many times I've said people in a row there, but it was a good 8.
You said people less than AI, and that's never happened at an interview.
There we go. This is how we are breaking through the situation from I think that's also something, and we should circle back to that as well, because you mentioned a little bit earlier when you were talking about what's been exciting for you guys this week is those announcements and you're getting recognised here. As you tend to think, actually, we look at how do you break through noise in a booth where, what do you always say, how many vendors are down there at the moment?
780.
Which is wild, right? And I get that everybody's solving different problems, but there's a lot of people solving the same problems. And from the consumer perspective, if you were walking the floor, how do you know who's doing what they're saying they're doing, but how do you know who to go for? I've got 5 people doing the same thing. Which one's the best one? And sometimes if you think maybe the noise that's being made around the part of, say, Innovation Sandbox or anything like this, is maybe where the investment should be going or what people should be striving for, rather than just getting a boob on the floor and pushing fingers and hoping for the best and just hoping we are the best at what we do is what gets people signed up.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone has ever walked the show floor, not known anyone in any of these companies, looked at the branding on the booth, did a demo and said, yes, I'm going to buy this, without talking to someone they know.
Yes.
And to me, that's the biggest thing, is like, no one just buys something based on any marketing material. Yeah. Even think of like when you're going to a restaurant, you're going to check reviews.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy something, especially something that's 6 figures and it's going to require you spending your own political capital to get approved, you're going to do that and put your reputation and your people on the line. And more than that, if it's cybersecurity, it's important. Without talking to someone, you're not going to do that. And to me, like, that's why we do everything through the channel.
Yes.
Because could you imagine if you were a CISO and you have a phone? I'm just a CMO, and I'm getting 80 to 100 calls a day of people trying to sell me stuff. If I'm a CISO, forget it. So I would only work with a channel partner that has looked at everything, that I can say, I trust you. You're going to vet this stuff for me. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so channel is a big piece of it, but also just like these communities of people.
Yes.
That's how you buy stuff. And investing there early is super important. We did a Cooking with CISOs episode with one of our customers this week. And he's one of these guys that like took a chance on us, but really is out there talking about it. And he talks to other CISOs. Yeah. And I'm in a very luxury position with a CEO that kind of gets it. We had a meeting with someone and we're just telling them what we do. And he's, listen, I don't want you to do a POE.
Yeah.
I don't want you to try our product until you talk to a couple of people first.
Yes. Yeah.
Most people would love to say, just jump in or buy it right now. I don't want you to even sign up until you've talked to these 2 people that look like you, that had the same problems, that are also not on the payroll and are willing to say where there was bumps along the way.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
I think as well, no matter what part of cyber you're working in, whether it's literally from a recruitment perspective, from a seller perspective, from a partnerships perspective, it is so community driven. It's referral and network driven. And the people that you trust are the people that you'll go to be like, do you know? And it's often a red flag in cyber. And I think that can be a really hard thing when you are a startup. Trying to break through and get in the noise, which is why that channel works so well, is the fact that you've got to build up that trust layer. You've got to have people who want to be like, oh yeah, I'll recommend your product to someone because it's great, it does what it says in the tin. And I think that's such an important part. And I don't know whether that's across all industries or if it's just unique because cyber's so community.
The stakes are...
This is it. And I was going to say that as well. You mentioned it. It's not cheap. It doesn't really matter what you're getting inside and none of it's cheap. And the problem also is you need so many different parts of it. It's not like there's not one vendor fixes every single problem that there is in cyber. It's often the case that our partners or this, that and the other. And again, that's overwhelming. So what do you prioritize our budget? But just to circle back through that though, because obviously like we mentioned there, that's like a really important direction and so on. Just from your experience, because obviously you are the marketeer at 7AI, this is your background. From your personal experience, what is it that excites you so much about what you're able to do with 7AI? Because you're as innovative, you're creative, you've raised great money, and you're able to put it to exciting uses within these. And like I say, priority hasn't been a boot here. It's been a case of, let's do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think what's different here first is like, you have to talk about the technology and how fast things are. The old way of doing it is you build a company stealth for 2 years, and then you get a couple of design partners, and then you launch it, and then you put things in your roadmap, and then 6 months, can't think that way.
Yes.
We launched the company on February 5th, 2 days later. That's when we raised a round, and we already got dozens of customers. It just moves so fast. You can't prioritize things on a product roadmap. Like, you do things in 3 days.
Yes. Yeah.
Couldn't do that. So it's like the technology part is really interesting, but also I think it's just like sometimes you hit at the exact right note.
Yes.
We're so inside of the AI and cyber stuff, and like we just feel like it's been around forever. The word of agent didn't exist a year ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe 2 years, but whatever. But what I'm saying is, like, the conversations that used to be, does AI actually work? That's over.
Yes.
It's no, how do I actually operationalize it? How do I show that I'm getting value? What do I do because I've got all this old stuff? How do I make it work? And so it's just a different conversation, because I think the other thing that I never like to talk about, but you almost have to now and then, how guys are starting to use AI.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not selling the future of FUD. It's the math doesn't work today. We don't have a chance if we're not able to match that. And everybody knows that on the defender side. So now it is I want to move fast, but I also don't want to move fast, get it wrong. Because right now we have access to the same technology that the bad guys do. Because usually it's on the offensive side, they have technology that's a little bit ahead of the market, right?
Yeah.
We both got this new magic thing called AI at the same time, and we're racing to figure out how to make it work before one side gets the advantage. And so put that together, the technology, the time, the moment, but also that kind of like cultural understanding of this thing has promise. What do I do and how do I move fast? But how do I find someone with trust to do it? Put that all together, it's so exciting.
Yeah, I think you hit something on a nail on the head. This is something that's come up so much, especially over the past, I'm going to say year, but in this conference in particular, it's been a conversation I've had repeatedly, is the fact that things are moving so quickly. There's new technology that's continuously coming out. The way, like, we're advanced, because you can't become stagnated, because like you mentioned, you've got the bad actors and so on, but they also have access to technology, and they've got this slight difference of they can play with it a lot more because they don't have any parameters yet. So it's suddenly a case to really go for it and be like, what works, what doesn't work. With this side of the coin, you don't have that same luxury, so you're going to play it on that part. But I know it's a crazy busy week. There's loads to unpack. Now, I reckon I was saying earlier that it feels like we'll be chatting for ages, and it'll only be 10 minutes, but I actually think we can chat about it for ages.
Oh my god.
But I think just to close out on the episode here, because it is an exciting week. The one thing we've all been talking about is the fact that all the talks that we're carrying the same energy, everybody's talking about these same things, but just from your personal perspective, what do you think is the most exciting thing that's come out of the week? Where are you saying, this is where I really think is interesting, this is where I'm seeing in the space that this is exciting?
It's not the answer you think, but I think it's energy and words.
Yes, yeah.
I think we're in cyber, we're usually fairly pessimistic. I think there's a lot of promises that aren't kept, but I think the energy I'm seeing right now from especially the CISOs we're talking to is that instead of I'm just going to sit through another vendor pitch and look at the same slides and then really pretty demo, it's let's move fast. I think people are past the I'm afraid it's going to replace people. It's not. They've moved past the AI doesn't actually work. It does. Now it's all right, I see it. What problem can I tackle today? How do I give value today? And it's said with a smile.
Yes.
All right, I gotta go get more. But I feel like there's actual optimism, and you don't feel that coming out of a show. Usually you're really tired and you go home and sleep 18 hours. But I think people are coming to this week with this renewed optimism and a lot of energy around what's possible.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that statement. I think I've said it so many times that the energy this week is just beyond
It's different.
Like, everybody is buzzed, they're excited. I think that the burnout that you usually feel at these doesn't seem to, and maybe people that are working.
It's only Wednesday. Let's see. By tomorrow it might be.
By the time we post this, everyone will be like, that was a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a really exciting one, and you guys have obviously got some incredible trajectory to go on. You're still early in the journey. You've got so much that I'm excited to see it come out.
Yes.
And we'll just have to continue doing this. Because like we say, everything that we did not that long ago, things
We'll keep looking back and say, well, hit that queen. And the next thing that we're like, this is big. This is so much fun.
But that's what's exciting. But no, Nick, thank you for taking time out of the busy week, coming to join me here. It's been great speaking with you. And obviously for everybody, continue following along for the conversations as we unpack what's happening this week at RSA. But I will see you next time, and thanks for joining us for Cyber Conversations.